Throughout Jujutsu Kaisen, Gojo has proven himself to be one of the most powerful characters in all of anime. And because of this, I have started to wonder, what would happen if Izuku was blessed with Gojo's powers? And that has caused me to make this what if. So without further ado, let's begin with what if Deku had Gojo's powers. It's over, Nana. Your time on this planet is up. Nana would grit her teeth, clenching her fists in anger. Once I'm done with you, I'm gonna go find your child. I'm gonna take his quirk, just like how I took your grandson from you. Nana would grit her teeth in anger once more, jumping up, using all her might to throw one last punch. Or two fingers would go deep right through her eyes. All for one, digging his fingers into her eyes, right through her brain and skull, killing her instantly. Almost as if right on that moment, as she would die, Izuku, who was staring in the mirror, brushing his teeth, would all of a sudden feel a sharp pain in his eyes before his eye color would change into a crystal clear blue. He would look at them shocked, dropping his toothbrush to the floor, opening up his eyelids, pulling them apart, looking at his eyes. What is this? Izuku would exclaim loudly to himself, before, as if realizing, what? Wait a minute. Did I just awaken my quirk? Izuku would say, excitedly jumping up and down in the air, before rushing over to his bedroom, pulling out a box that his mother had given him, saying to open it up once he awakened his quirk. Izuku would peel back the top of the box before seeing a small black blindfold, Izuku would say to himself. Pulling it up, a note would be under there. Put this on, Izuku. Trust me. Izuku would end up putting it on. All of a sudden, his eyes would just feel more relaxed, and he just felt more calm and at ease as well. He didn't feel like he was constantly using just a ton of energy either. It was quite shocking to Izuku, as he would hold it there. After that, Izuku would decide to take it off and would finish brushing his teeth before going to bed. In the morning, however, upon him waking up, strangely, he wouldn't find his mother downstairs like she always was, as she would always wake up and cook him some breakfast before he would venture out to walk to his school. As Izuku would think this was weird, a knock would be heard at the door. Izuku would slowly trot over there before unlocking it and opening it up. The door would creak open as a tall figure would stand there in a black suit and tie. He would look down towards Izuku, smiling with a devilish smile, reaching down his hand, his fingers going down towards him, trying to grab the top of Izuku's head. However, nothing would happen. The blindfolded child would look up towards All For One, as he would look towards him. What are you doing, mister? He would say towards him, as All For One would try to reach closer towards Izuku, Izuku would just smile. My mom always told me not to let strangers get too close to me. He would say before punching the stranger in the gut. It wouldn't really do much, however the stranger would end up laughing. It appears your quirk is far stronger than your mother's. Well, I might as well just tell you this. Your mother's dead, kid, he would say in a cold, just raspy voice. Izuku would sort of fall back onto his butt, wondering, what? How? What? No, this can't be. The stranger would then smile before kneeling down towards him. Oh, but it is, before walking out. Izuku deciding not to go to school that day, just waiting, sitting by the door, waiting for his mother to arrive. However, she never came. Izuku sitting there, just saddened, knowing my mom's dead. He would pick it up, brushing himself off, hearing the phone ring. He would pick it up. Miss Shimura, your child did not report into school today. Is everything alright at home? Izuku would put down the phone. He would sigh to himself. I can't believe it. She really is gone. He would shake his head before walking outside. They lived on a very far-off farm to keep Izuku safe, as if they lived in the city, it posed a greater threat of their house being broken into. As Izuku would rush over to a target dummy, punching it over and over again. The target made out of hay, the hay would break through the straw stack, beating into Izuku's knuckles. He would continue smashing into it as the hay would scratch Izuku's knuckles, and the skin would slowly start peeling away as blood would break the surface, streaming down his hands. Tears would start flowing down Izuku's eyes. "Damn it! Damn it! Damn it!" Izuku would yell out in frustration and pain. How could she just die?" Izuku would yell. He didn't know what to do anymore. He's 4 years old, his mother is dead. Punching and punching and punching his anger, and just going to work. Or he would walk back, sitting down onto a tree stump, holding his forehead in pain. Izuku would say, groaning in agony, as he would walk back into the house, bandaging up his wrists. The next day, he would go into school, and the next day after that. 5 years would pass as Izuku was now in 5th grade, as he was basically living alone. His house pretty much just sat as abandoned, and with Izuku's mom having made enough money in the bank, the taxes basically were just on auto pay. The house was paid off, electricity was still there, and luckily enough, Izuku had money that was left over in a stash, as his mother Nana knew that something like this was bound to happen, and so letting Izuku just have all this money to hopefully keep him just alive if she were to ever die was probably the smartest move she ever could have made. One day, however, Izuku would walk into school, and a child who had heard many rumors about the kid that wouldn't speak to anyone, being Izuku of course, happened to have no parents, as some kids were spying on him walking back to his house, and no parents there to greet him at the door. So this young, just Pomeranian-haired kid would walk up to him, fiery, saying, "Ha! Imagine having no parents. That couldn't be me. My parents love me. Yours must not have loved you at all since they're dead." Izuku would turn towards the boy walking up to him, grabbing his throat, lifting him up, slamming him into a wall. "What the hell did you say, punk?" Izuku would say before slamming him down into the tile jetting up from it. Izuku would back off, however the kid, smiling, would then turn over to where a teacher was. The teacher, looking shocked and horrified, rushing over to Izuku, grabbing him on the hand, grabbing his wrist, yanking him. "Damn it, Izuku! You can't just go around beating up kindergartners. You're in 5th grade!" He'd yell before kicking him out of the school. "Don't come back, Izuku, until you fix that behavior of yours," she would say, pointing her finger at him. "What?" Izuku would sort of just complete in shock. "What do you mean? I can't come back." As Izuku would stand there, just completely confused, he would shrug his shoulders. Well, guess they have more time to train. School's getting boring anyway, he'd say to himself, walking out. As the blindfold on his eyes would end up causing people not to be able to see him, and this would cause a villain to think he is an easy target. Thinking this, the villain would sneak up onto Izuku. Well, not really sneak up on him, he would just walk up behind him so that Izuku would not hear him. So he would walk behind him, were gelling out its slimy tendrils towards Izuku. However, Izuku would really just teleport away. The creature would look shocked before Izuku would be right on top of him, floating in the air. "Nice try. I knew you were coming from a mile away," Izuku would say before pointing out his finger. "Blue," he would yell, as an orb would end up forming in the middle of this creature, sucking it in, or exploding out. Slime would splatter everywhere, all across the walls. Izuku smiling at what he had done. "This is kind of fun," Izuku would say to himself before walking back to his house. That night, Izuku would lie in his bed, restless. He had just gotten kicked out of school, and he had just beaten up his first ever villain. It was just energizing, Izuku would think to himself. So from then on out, Izuku would put his blindfold on and would go out into the night, becoming the youngest vigilante in the country's history, going out, and heroes didn't know what to do. Word spread all around that a young kid would just go around fighting and sometimes killing villains that were just causing harm to the city and the people that lived in it. The city sort of gave him this mantra, calling him the hero of the night and all of this. But many also wondered, how could such a young kid get into a just sort of thing of crime fighting at so young? It was sort of like a Robin from Batman. However, Izuku doesn't have a Batman to teach him all these things. He has to be self-taught, basically turning him into a Batman and not a Robin, as he's had to learn all of this problem-solving things, having no one to teach him. His mother was dead and he was an orphan now, so he had quite the rough upbringing, if you would say. So at 8 years would pass, Izuku, now 18 years old, that Bakugo kid or whatever was now 15 going into high school, and Izuku would just be walking on the side of the road one day when all of this sudden All Might would come flying out of nowhere. As he was about to land into Izuku would jump up, dodging him before he would look up. Izuku, seeing something flying right towards him, he would point his finger out, yelling "Red," as this huge thing would just go flying towards this person. However, they would reflect it right back at Izuku. And this person with the reflection quirk reflected Izuku, sending him flying backwards, as Reversal Red basically just sent Izuku flying the other way. With Izuku flying, he would end up landing in this unknown city, where a bunch of school children all were standing around him with a bunch of mechanical robot parts around him as well. However, the silence would be broken when a young kid would end up slamming his fingers together before yelling, "Hell yeah! Here's an actual person! Guess this is the real test they were talking about!" He would say, blowing up things behind him as explosions would erupt from out of his hands. He would rush towards Izuku, going for a punch. However, his fist would stop right in front of him. "Nice try, kid. That's not gonna work on me." Izuku would teleporting behind him before elbowing him in the side. The kid would keel over, holding his stomach in pain. "What the hell was that?" he would say. As all the kids seeing this would rush towards him, thinking that if he was this strong, he probably was worth a hell of a lot of points. So with them rushing at him, Izuku would dodge all of their attacks, teleporting around all of them. Just one person would dive towards him, however Izuku would dive over them, punching them right in the face. He would dodge all of their attacks, just grabbing people's wrists and throwing their attacks into each other. When Izuku was done, a pile of kids would be surrounding him, all in a daze, their heads going in circles, many of them holding their heads like, "Oh, what happened?" They would say out, groaning in pain. Izuku would just laugh. "Maybe y'all shouldn't have attacked me and waited for me to actually ask what was going on. I'm no villain," Izuku sort of muttered to himself, laughing. When all of this sudden, someone would appear from behind him with a scarf, trying to wrap it around him. However, Izuku would turn around, grabbing it. "Whoa, calm down, man. What's with such the hurry? I already said I'm no villain," Izuku would say, putting his hands up. "Can we all just calm down? Anyways, what is this place? Why are there so many angry high schoolers anyway?" Izuku would say, when a small rodent-like creature would come walking up to him. "You're quite strong, aren't you? So, who are you?" he would ask. "Oh, I'm Izuku Gojo. That's my name." Nezu would look towards him before a sudden realization would occur. "Wait, you're Nana's kid. What? I thought you died." "Nope, I'm still alive and kicking. I am here after all," Izuku would say, smiling to himself. "Oh, that's interesting." Nezu would turn. "Give me one moment." He would start thinking to himself, "Maybe I should let this kid into school." He would say, as Izuku, hearing this, "So are you saying I could become a hero?" Izuku would say, peering over Nezu's shoulder. "That is Half right. You're gonna become a teacher here. However, you have to pass the teacher test. Once you do that, after half a year, I'll let you try out for the hero licensing exam. How does that deal sound? You got yourself a deal, Izuku would say, extending out his hand, shaking Nezu's. After that, they would walk up into Nezu's office, where Nezu would then give him a test. Izuku would look at the test that was pretty much basic high school level things. It was basic algebra, basic English and literacy, as he would be staring at it, thumping his fingers on the desk. He would groan in just sort of pain, like, oh, what the hell is this? I don't know what any of this is, he would say to himself, returning in the test haphazardly, like, I know I didn't do too well on that, he would say. Nezu would fly through the grading process before frowning towards the paper. So, how'd I do? I don't like that look on you, Thuke would say with a half grin on his face, half frown. Well, your results are 1 in a million, I guess. You got a 2. A 2 out of what? A 2 out of 100. What? How could I be... Izuku would say, just completely shocked. What? That doesn't make any sense. I tried my hardest. Well, I guess your hardest isn't good enough. Well, I guess the teacher thing's out of the picture. How about this? You become a student aide, you don't take any classes in favor of me tutoring you, and hopefully by the end of the year you'll be caught up with all your classmates. Well, that sounds good enough to me, Zuko would say to himself. Nezu would grin. Well, I guess that's it then. Classes start in 2 weeks. Don't be late, he would say with a grin on his face. Zuko would sort of shiver. Ugh, he would say to himself. 2 weeks would pass as Izuku would walk in, wearing the UA uniform that was quite uncomfortable to his standards. Izuku would end up putting his hand down on his desk, resting his head, as many of the other students walk in, recognizing him. Hey, it's that kid. He was the one that attacked all of us. Many of them would start their guard up, thinking he was a villain, before Aizawa would end up walking in. Calm down, class, calm down. It's on your first day. How do you know he's not one of your classmates? Well, you'd be right, since he isn't. He's, well, he half is. He's a student aide. He's going to be helping me and teaching all of you how to actually fight. As Nezu actually gave him a test, his battle IQ is extraordinarily high, while his, how do I say this? His smarts aren't. So he's gonna be training with us from now on. Alright, class? Anyways, meet me down at training facility A. We're gonna be taking a couple of tests. The person in last place is gonna be expelled from UA. Alright? Simple as that. Only the top people can become heroes. I don't want any wastes of time to be in my class, would say to himself. Izuku would get up after hearing that before walking down to the locker room. He had seen the map of the school and had already mapped out everything in his head. As Izuku was walking with his hands behind his head, just sort of leisurely walking down, a blue-haired boy would end up stopping him. Hey, you're the kid that fought all of us, right? Yeah? What about it? Well, I wanted to ask you, how'd you know we were coming if you have that blindfold on? Well, it's quite weird. I can see through it just a little bit, as my eyes are so powerful without it on that it actually kind of drains a bunch of my energy. So I just wear it so I don't run out of energy so fast. Plus, it actually makes fighting a little bit challenging, Zuko would say, as he would walk down to the locker room changing before meeting Aizawa at the training site. Once there, Aizawa would toss him a ball. Alright, our student aide here, Zuko, Gojo, is going to throw this ball. Alright, Zuko, go ahead and throw it. Zuko would throw it up into the air before creating a lapse blue, this black hole sort of thing that would attract the ball right towards it. Trapping it, the ball would then disappear into the black hole as Aizawa would look down. Well, it I'll just say infinity since it went into that thing you created, as it's not really showing up. Alright class, any questions? Zuko and the rest of the class would then complete the rest of the challenges, and of course, Zuko being the OP, just 6 eyes and limitless user that he is, would easily get first place. As would get first, all of his classmates would just wonder, Jesus, how strong is this guy? They would say to themselves. And that is where today's episode comes to an end. I hope you all did enjoy it, as I surely did, since it's my first time making a What If in almost 6 months. Stay tuned, as part 2 is going to be coming out tomorrow. Same time, same place, you all know where to find us. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I thank you all for watching once again, and goodbye.